Hello, my name is Nathan and welcome to Learn Music Theory. Bit of a different video today. This one's a bit of a technique tune-up, okay? So we're going to use this instrument and we're going to talk through a few things with both hands in terms of playing the guitar physically. We're going to look at some things that are some bad habits and we're going to change those. We're going to look at the ideal way to start if you've never played before. And if you have played before and you may have fallen into some bad habits, we're going to look at that too. I'm going to give you an exercise at the end of this video, which, if done every day, will solidify everything you've been learning and will help you master the physical aspects of playing this instrument. Let's get started. Okay, so before we get into it, I want to have a quick chat about technique. Now, technique as a concept, it gets floated around guitar communities often that, oh, look at his technique, look at her technique, how good's the technique? At the end of the day, technique is there to serve the music. It's as simple as that, okay? It needs to be secondary to the music that you're making. Now, what we're going to talk about today, though, is a way to have a generic, stock standard technique, a set and forget. Now, before you start saying, oh, but Nathan, this guitar player plays it like this, that's more than likely true, and that's great. But the point of this video is to get you back to square one and to give you a good solid foundation in your technique, which in time you can obviously tweak to adjust to your musical style and you're playing whatever music you're playing or the level that you're currently at. Coincidentally, if you want to have a look at a really good YouTube series, type in Troy Grady. He's done a fantastic job at dissecting famous guitar players and their different techniques. Okay, let's look at the pick now. Now, picks come in all shapes and sizes. Small, got a whole packet of these ones here. This size to the big ones, even to the old 50-cent piece. All right, jokes aside, let's have a look at the best way to hold the pick. All right, so I'm going to use this blue pick here. This is a Dunlop USA 1mm pick, which means it's 1mm thick. You can get them in all different sizes. Now, I use the millimeter thick ones because they're a bit thicker and they have a nice sound when they hit the string, and it's a bit more sturdy. It doesn't sort of bend and twist in your hands, which is not ideal. Okay, let's have a look at how we hold it. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is to handshake. All right, curl the fingers in like your thumbs up. Keep some space in the open hand. You don't want to close your fist like this. You want to keep it open. Then you want to put the pick. You see it's got a three-sided here, two tops and the little point. You want to put the pointing side facing away from you or out on that part of your finger there, which is this part of the knuckle right here. Curl in. So it's handshake, thumbs up, pick there, thumb goes on top. Okay, that's the perfect way to hold a pick. Ideally, we want about that much out of the hand. We don't want to be holding it like that. That's way too much pick. Okay, it's going to be really flimsy. We don't want that. Coincidentally, we don't want very little to be hanging out. Okay, for the moment, just to start with, we want three-step process. Handshake, curl the hands in, thumbs up, pick on the first knuckle of the thumb over the top. Now, we want to keep some air in the back like this. We want it to be nice and relaxed, nice and loose. All right. Now, to bring it up to the guitar, we simply follow that same process. Shoulder, elbow on the curve of the guitar, 45-degree angle. Bring the pick to the string like so, and you're ready to go. Okay, so now you've got the pick in the correct position. Let's look at how we actually strike the string. So I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to get a little bit closer to the camera so you can see. In this proper position, okay, we want to have the pick strike the string. We actually want it to strike on an angle. So I'm going to try and get as close as I can. Okay. So the way we want it is to strike the string. There's two types of strokes. We have a downstroke, which is going to go this way, and then we have an upstroke, which is going to go this way. So the downstroke will be like this. Okay, nice and consistent tone there. That's just an open D string. Same on all the other strings. Okay, nice and consistent tone, that's what we want. Now to achieve that, what I've actually done is I'm going to tilt the guitar like this. Rather than have the pick hit the string virtually flat or dead on, okay, When we have the proper hand position, we want to actually push the thumb down slightly, which then turns the pick on an angle. And we want to be picking away or down from where you're holding it. So we want the pick to actually strike the string at a 45-degree angle and kind of cut through it. Okay, as opposed to okay, now as you obviously heard there, I was striking strings that I didn't want to. That's because the pick was hitting flat. Okay, we don't want it flat. We want the pick to be angled. That angle that we have the pick hitting the string is going to provide more precision. And because we have such a very thin piece of plastic here, all right, or whatever material your pick is made from, even if it's the old 50-cent coin, we have 1 millimeter hitting on an angle as opposed to hitting flat. Okay, it's a lot more, you can control it much more. And that's what you want, consistency of tone. Okay, so now we have the tone that we want. Let's look at that movement, okay? Now, contrary to popular belief, there is the idea that it's all in the wrist. I want to show you something which I think is going to help you. I want you to imagine that all of the movement from now on actually happens at the elbow, okay? So if I'm playing this note here, okay, which is on the 7th fret of the D string, which is an A note, okay? So using that technique we spoke about before, having the pick angled, and then the downstroke and the upstroke, I'm actually moving from the elbow, like this kind of movement. I'm not doing this. Okay, that's from the wrist. If you can imagine playing that consistently, okay, after a while that would get pretty tiring. As opposed to if we do it with a elbow movement. Okay, much easier, and it's a lot easier to hold, and it's less damage to your wrists, which is obviously what we want to prepare against. Okay, we want to stop any potential for any injury. Okay, so let's look at this hand now and how we approach this part of the instrument. Going on from this first conversation with this hand, where we looked at the shoulder and the elbow was nice and relaxed, it needs to be the same thing on this hand too. Okay, so this is obviously my right hand. For you, it'll be your left hand if you're a right-handed player. So we want the shoulder nice and relaxed. Okay, elbow, same thing. We want to have a relaxed posture. We want to nice and relaxed. Okay, we don't want to have too much of the thumb over like this, having this part of the hand. It gets too messy. You can see what that's doing to my shoulder. Okay, we don't want that. Nice and relaxed, and then we're ready to play. So the two schools of thought in terms of this hand and how you play the instrument, again, revolve around this idea of technique serving the music. So if you're a rock player or a blues player or anything kind of Hendrixy, blues rock oriented, more often than not, you will see those guitar players have their thumb over the top like that, all right, and they'll play more like this. The second approach, of course, is the classical way, and that involves more of having the fingers all lined up like this, having the thumb behind the neck. So the thumb is in line with the middle finger. Okay, that's exactly what it looks like. And then you bring it to the thing here. So I'm going to use the 5th fret here as an example. This is our reference point. We're going to do this. I'm just going to squeeze the strings like this. I'm going to bring them to the camera, see where those slits are there. Okay, that's the perfect position of where you to place your fingertips to make consistent notes. And if we use this hand here and we do everything that we spoke about with this hand, okay, so I just played 4 notes there. I played the 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, and 8th fret on the low E string here, okay? Now you'll notice my hands are all the same. They're all curled in, okay? One's not like this, one's not like that, okay? We don't want that. We want them all the same, nice and consistent, okay? Like that. Okay, so this brings us to the next point now, which is this idea of 1 finger per fret. Now, this is not so much a physical way to play the instrument, it's more of a concept. And if you can link these two together, you're definitely going to be able to solidify your technique. It's going to improve rapidly. So the idea behind it is that one finger plays all the notes for that corresponding fret. For example, I have my first finger here on the 5th fret. I put my second finger on the 6th fret, third finger on the 7th, and fourth finger on the 8th. Now this is just in this 4 fret range. It would be no different if we were playing up here, frets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, okay? 1 finger per fret. So that's a concept that I invite you to use because you'll find it very, very beneficial. That way you don't have to move your hands so much up and down the neck trying to find notes. Okay, so let's talk now about an exercise that we can do that is going to synchronize both hands, okay? And that's what we want to get to. We want to get to the stage where both hands are synchronized and working together, okay? That's going to speed up your development physically on this instrument. So we're going to take a simple chromatic exercise, okay? You can find heaps of these online. The easiest one to do to start with is play 5, 6, 7, 8, and then move to the next string. 5, 6, 7, 8 to the next string, 5, 6, 7, 8, next string, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, etc. Then you can reverse it. Okay, so let's do that now. Ready? Here we go. Okay, now obviously that was as bad as musical as a brick, but the point remains that we're synchronizing the two hands. So another good exercise I'll give you is the same kind of concept, but we're going to start up here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. We do that all the way down. And then we go 5, 4, 3, 2, and then we're going to repeat that same thing back up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. What's next? You guessed it. 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how, with this exercise, if you do it every day, nice and slowly, you're going to be able to synchronize both hands. You'll be amazed at where your playing gets. Okay, so one more thing I wanted to talk about was this idea of the synchronization and this idea that before you change strings, okay, let's say we're on the top string here. I'm on the 5th fret, so we're going to go 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to get to the stage where before you have to make sure that this pinky has played the last note before this first finger lifts up and moves to the next string. And then you go 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's just something else to think of. Thanks for watching today, guys. Trust you learned something. Trust you got something out of this. This is a really, really, really good place to start from if you're only starting guitar or if you've been playing for a while but the results aren't coming. This will solidify your technique and it will serve the purpose of all the music you ever want to play. You'll have a really, really solid foundation. Thanks very much, guys. Catch you in the next one.